Welcome to Mark's Peanut Stand. Hey, y'all. Tonight, you get to have an exclusive interview with the one, the only Marcus Lattimore. Let's get it.
Welcome to Sports Nuts University. Welcome to Sports Nuts University. Hey, let's go. Hey, let's go. Welcome to Sports Nuts University. We run this show. We run this show. Welcome to Sports Nuts University. Hands up, get loud. Hands up, get loud. Welcome to Sports Nuts University. SNU, wow. Making you proud.
Sports nuts back in the game. Make you remember the name. When it came with the vision, Matt brought it all in the frame. Nobody rocking like Shane. Give you them facts from the brain. Every take hot like a flame, then us going out with a bang.
Welcome to Sports Nuts University. Hey, let's go. Hey, let's go. Welcome to Sports Nuts University. We run this show. We run this show. Welcome to Sports Nuts University. Hands up, get loud. Hands up, get loud. Welcome to Sports Nuts University. SNU, wow. Making you proud.
You are now listening to The Sports Nuts.
I mean, Mark, you cannot sit there and say that was one of the most amazing introductions, right? It gets me every time, and I'm just, y'all welcome to the Sports Nuts, more specifically Mark's Peanut Stand, where you get exclusive one-on-one interviews with some of the biggest legends in the game of sport. Tonight, we are interviewing the one, the only Marcus Lattimore. Hey, real quick, let's give a special shout out to everybody tuning in live on 95.5 KFCE, TigerNation.live, and all the other amazing radio stations we air on across this great country and in international radio as well. We now broadcast in Canada, so we appreciate everybody there. And also, we are now broadcasting in 60 countries worldwide. Our newest one is Sydney. We're in Sydney, Australia, so shout out to all those who are tuning in with us. So tonight, y'all, you are going to get a special treat. You may recognize the name. He played for your University of South Carolina Gamecocks. His name is Marcus Lattimore. Marcus, man, how are you doing, sir?
I was still bopping to the music, like the sports nut. Like, that is a bop.
Now you want to go to that school, right?
feeling that. Come on.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm doing well, Brandon. Sunny day, my energy's high, and college football is back. So, and I'm happy to be on.
Amen. I'm so happy that football's back. Well, I want you, and I will be in the back, but you and Mark have a fantastic interview. And I'm going to let you know right now, you have about 67 people watching. Let's keep it coming. Enjoy it.
Sounds good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our guest tonight is someone whose name means something different depending on who you ask. If you're a
Mark,
Gamecock
I can't
fan,
hear you.
hold on just a second. Yeah,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Hold on.
Are you having some difficulties?
Yeah, he can't hear me.
All right, hang on. Try it now. Do my
Can
check.
you hear me now, Marcus? Can you hear me?
Log back in, log out, Mark, and come back in, okay?
I'm gonna log out.
He's going to log back out and come back in. Can you hear me, though, Marcus? Can you hear me? No? Okay.
I'm not getting it. Brandon, I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm not getting anything right now.
Okay. Hang on, okay? How about now? Can you hear me now? Let's go here. Mark, are you there?
Oh, yeah.
I'm back. I can hear everything now.
Okay. All
Good.
right. Yeah. All right, cool. All right. So there you go. We are good to go. Mark, the floor is yours.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to my man, Mr.
I
Mark.
can only hear Brandon. This is this is strange.
Okay.
Oh, this is
Can you hear?
Brandon, I mean,
Can you hear Mark with me on there?
Can you hear me now?
Let's see.
maybe I'll try to log in and log back out, or no?
Yeah, log in and log back out. Let's see. All right, which took him out. All right. We apologize for having some technical difficulties, y'all. I think what we're going to do, Mark, is I'll just stay on the screen with you guys, okay?
Yeah, I think that's what we had to do with Tom too.
Yeah. All right.
Oh.
Let's see here. All right, I'm going to hop out real quick and I'm going to come. Nope. Yeah, I'll be right back.
All right. Sorry, everybody. If you can hear me, I apologize. We're having some technical difficulties.
All right. I went ahead and redid his audio.
Okay.
Up there he goes.
Uh,
Can you hear us now?
Loud and clear.
All right.
can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, very good.
Okay, now here we go. So, Brandon, I guess you just need to stay on here, man. I'm not good to the background, and
No, you're good.
I don't know
It
what's
might have
going
been
on.
something on my phone, fellas.
Well, we had the same issue a couple nights ago with another guest too.
Okay.
So I think it's something to do with us, but um, so what I'm gonna do, like I said, so first of all, our guest tonight, somebody whose name may mean something different depending on who you ask. If you're a Gamecock fan, he's a legend. If you're a Clemson fan, he's a legend killer. To college football fans, he was one of the most gifted running backs of his generation. The South Carolina fans, he became something even bigger, a player who helped change what people believe Gamecock football could be. He rushed for 2,677 yards, scored 38 rushing touchdowns as a Gamecock, and helped the Gamecocks reach heights the program had rarely experienced and produced moments that people in our state still talk about even as of today. But if Marcus Lattimore's story ended with football, we'd be leaving out perhaps the most important part. Two devastating knee injuries did change the direction of his career, but they didn't define the rest of his life. The 49ers did believe enough in Marcus to draft him, and when his playing career eventually ended, he opened up another story. He dedicated himself to young people, explored life beyond the identity of an athlete, became a writer, a spoken word poet, even become an Oregon spoken word Grand Slam champion, and continued building a life that very few people could have predicted when he was carrying the rock at Williams-Brice Stadium. So tonight we're going to talk about all of it. So please welcome to the show my good friend Marcus Lattimore. How you doing today, Marcus?
I can't complain, Mark. Thank you for that intro. I forgot some of those stats.
Hey man, that's a good thing about being an interviewer. I get to research all this stuff. Um, but how's everything in Oregon, my friend?
Everything in Oregon. Oregon is it's pretty warmer than usual today. But it's a beautiful day. I'm currently I know that you mentioned my poetry. I'm currently in the process of rehearsal right now.
Oh,
Because in my artistic endeavors out here, I've dipped my toe into acting. So I've been
oh yeah.
acting a bit more. We have a play coming up. It starts at the end of September, and it's just like training camp when it comes to rehearsal. We're going 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. And we're just, building that muscle. I'm playing this character, and his name is Dallas.
Uh-huh.
And Dallas is a music producer who is in love with a certain lady, but him and that certain lady split apart, and they come back together at a dinner. And at this dinner, they air out everything that they didn't say during their relationship. So I'm currently in the process of, learning about who Dallas is and taking on this new challenge, play, which is just a different arena,
Yeah.
play ball, but the skills that I learned from ball, I'm just trying to transfer into what I'm
Transfer
doing
into a
now.
different arena, like you said. Yeah, all right.
Exactly, exactly.
Absolutely, man. Well, we definitely want to get into all that, my friend, because I didn't even know about the acting. So now you done added more
It's
questions to me
it's
about the
new.
interview.
It's new, so you
So
you you wouldn't know.
well, we're gonna definitely dive into all that, my friend. So basically, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna start out. I want to talk about your time before South Carolina, before you were Gamecock, before South Carolina, before the touchdowns, before everybody in the state knew your name. Who was Marcus Lattimore growing up?
Quiet, reserved, simple. Uh, I was forced into the spotlight being at the high school that I was, such a prominent high school
Burns,
uh,
yeah.
for football. So but before I got to Burns, I was hanging out with my friends, playing PlayStation, um, you know, running outside playing football with my friends. But I mean, wasn't much going on in Duncan, South Carolina. I kind of liked it that way. It's
Hmm.
a very simplistic lifestyle. You go to the coast in the summer, whether that be Charleston, Myrtle Beach, or Beaufort. But if not that, you just in school and you playing sports, and that's what we're doing. We did what we love, and we had a lot. We got a lot of open fields to do that.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, life was simple. I got two brothers, one sister. My brothers are the main people who inspired me to play ball. My dad played ball as well. So it just kind of runs in the family sports. Um, yeah, but my mom, she was, after my mom and dad split at about 9 years old, she
Hmm.
became a single parent and she had to raise five kids, and those five kids, including my two cousins. My two cousins also lived with us at that time, so it was a big, loud, fun, sometimes chaotic
Oh
household.
yeah.
Um, we didn't have much space, but we had everything we needed. Um, yeah, I was raised by a strong woman, and my dad was there. My dad lived in Spartanburg. I lived in Duncan, or the Duncan area, so he wasn't too far away. So I had connection with both sides of my parents, and my grandparents as well. But um, you know, yeah, I think football became a place where I could express all the energy that was inside of me. I mean, it's really just as simple as that. And my friends were playing, so I really think that's what inspired my play.
Hmm.
Like all of the people that I enjoy being around were out playing football or basketball or baseball. So it's a simple life in Duncan.
Oh yeah. I tell you what, man. I live in Simpsonville now. I moved here from Newberry, South Carolina, which is more towards the Columbia area, and I actually attended some of those Burns games. Of course, after you
Oh
had
yeah,
done graduated. Man, it's like going to the Packers game, kind of man. Like
I'm
those
telling you.
games are insane. Now
We
you became, huh?
I was gonna say we used to pack it out. Yeah, I mean I remember games. I mean particularly with our rivals like Dorman or Spartanburg. I mean if we played at Dorman, I mean there'd be 15,000 plus people there. Nixon Field and Duncan, we couldn't seat that many, but it would be
Right.
sold out. It'd be 2,000, 2,500 people there. So yeah, it's one of those places where Friday night the entire town shuts down.
Yeah, I tell you what, like I said, I went to see it as Burns and Spartanburg, and it was absolutely insane.
Mm-hmm.
Now you became one of the biggest recruits in the country at Burns. What was it like being a teenager with that much attention suddenly surrounding you?
Oh
And also,
man.
as a follow-up, did you enjoy the recruiting process, or did it just become exhausting?
I tell you what, I didn't know what to expect, going into the recruiting process. Um, having so much attention and notoriety at a young age is kind of, when I look back on it, I mean, it's kind of unnatural. But quite frankly, I think I was prepared, because I did see. I mean, we were one of those schools that sent guys to college all the time. I mean, Will
Mm-hmm.
Corn was a guy that I watched growing up. He was a
Yeah.
quarterback at Clemson. Stanley Hunter, he went to Clemson. We had guys getting recruited D1 that were older than me that I watched a lot, and I watched how they maneuvered. I watched their mannerisms and how they spoke to people and what they did say, what they didn't say. I wanted to be a good role model for kids in Duncan, just like my role models were.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I just came from a rich lineage of just good dudes, and I saw that. So I think I handled it okay, although it was a bit overwhelming. Um, I got my first offer from Clemson, and then South Carolina, and then everybody else. My
Mm-hmm.
sophomore year after we won the state championship. And the second part of your question, what was the second part of your question, Mark?
The second part was the question: did you actually enjoy the recruiting process,
Did
or
I
did it eventually
enjoy it?
get exhausting?
I enjoyed it. I did. I did. I enjoyed the attention. Um, and I mean, free trips, like on official visits. I mean, they pay for you to
Right.
come to their school, and they feed you steak and lobster, and they take you
Getting
out to
rural
all the cool
treatment.
parties, and they wine and dine you, because they want your services. So I enjoyed the free trips. Went to Penn State, went to Auburn, Florida State. I got to see a good bit of the East Coast
Yeah.
for free because I was a highly touted recruit, and
Undefeated.
I enjoyed it. But it got to a point where it it got to a point where it was a little bit overwhelming. But yeah, there was a part of me that wanted it to end. There was a part of me that didn't want it to end. I mean, it was just
Right.
that two-sided thing inside of you. So it was fun.
You
Yeah,
get that rural treatment all the time wherever you go, right?
no doubt.
Yeah. Well, Auburn was also heavily involved with you, Marcus. How close were we to having Marcus Lattimore as an Auburn Tiger?
Mm, it was real close, honestly. Um, Michael Dyer was
Mm-hmm.
another highly touted running back in my class, and
Mm-hmm.
there's another guy named Lake Seatrunk.
Mm-hmm.
So they were recruiting all three of us, Lake
Right.
Seatrunk, myself, and Michael Dyer. And during that recruiting process, there was like this vision that they had for all of us. And it was the same vision uh, at Arkansas during the time when Darren McFadden, Felix Jones, and I believe
Oh
his
yeah.
name was Peyton Hillis.
Yep.
Um,
Uh-huh.
Peyton Hillis, yeah, they were running this innovative offense called the Wild Hog. And Gus Malzahn was the offensive coordinator at Auburn, and he painted this vision of all three of us. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
taking direct snaps, running triple option, running
Oh
zone read. We're
yeah.
taking turns at quarterback. It was an exciting vision.
Right.
Um, so it was real close.
Now, if Michael Dyer doesn't choose Auburn, do you think there's a realistic chance that you end up there?
I wanted to play. There was a part of me that enjoyed that vision, but there was also a part of me that wanted all the carries to myself.
Right.
So I mean, they were recruiting Lake Seatrunk as well.
Mm-hmm.
Who was another 5-star running back, and I just didn't think I wanted to share carries with anybody. Um, I think I still would have ended up at South Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was always the big rumor. Was a lot of people said that it was because of Michael Dyer, so I had to throw that out there.
It was
Now,
it was close. It was
hmm
close. But ultimately, no, it had nothing to do with Dyer. I believed in the vision that they had. I think I just wanted all the carries to myself.
yeah, I can't blame you not one bit, man.
Yeah.
Now you arrived at South Carolina with enormous expectations. Were you confident immediately that your game was going to translate to the SEC?
Mm. The expectations were external, because Coach Graham, who was my running back coach at the time, and Coach Spurrier, obviously, who was our head coach. I mean, they said I had an opportunity to play early, which was great for me, play early, but they didn't say I was going to start.
Right.
Um, because Brian Maddox was on the roster, Kenny
hmm
Miles was on the roster, Jarvis Giles, three
Right.
talented running backs,
Very
and
good running back.
you know they were just gonna eventually work me in, and I felt comfortable with that. But as things go, Kenny Miles had a hamstring during training camp my freshman year that sat him out for a few weeks. Uh, I forgot what happened to Brian Maddox, and then the opportunity just presented itself. Um, so I don't think the plan was for me to, have 50 carries in 3 games my
Right.
freshman year. You know, that was it. Just ended up happening that way,
Yeah, it
and
worked out.
we wanted to win games, and the running game was working because I mean, hell, we had an offensive line in front of us.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that team was stacked top to bottom everywhere you could look. So now, 2010, we're playing Georgia. 37 carries, 182 yards, 2 touchdowns. You're a freshman playing your second college game. When did you realize Georgia wasn't going to be able to stop you?
Oh man. I mean, if I'm being honest, like I walked out to the coin flip and I saw one of their outside linebackers who I think ended up playing like 10 years in the NFL, Justin Houston.
hmm
I was 18. Justin Houston was a fifth year senior. And I mean, this dude is 6'3", 270 pounds with a bald head. I mean, talking about grown
Yeah.
man out there. I saw that. I can't even lie to you. I was a little bit intimidated. Um, but I trusted my training. I trusted my coaches knew what they were doing. I knew we had a dominant offensive line. I did know that.
Yes.
Um, and I went out there and I just pretended it was high school. Because this is really my first. I mean, I played in the first game, but this is really my first SEC game, and I just don't want to screw it up. So I'm running as hard as I can, and then eventually I find a rhythm, and
Right.
I find that if I lower my body just a little bit, I'll be able to, every Georgia had 6'3", 6'4". Their front seven was
Oh yeah.
massive,
Yes.
so but I was running at a very low angle, so I started to notice that, I was bouncing off these dudes because they just weren't getting as low as I was. And I think I realized that late in the third quarter. Um, when I mean we're just pounding them. We're pounding. They just can't stop us. And I'm like, okay, I think I found a cheat code in this running thing. And I mean, it's
Uh
something
huh.
that we worked on. Not even necessarily a cheat code. It's something that we worked on in practice. But
Right.
I think I started to trust it. My pad leverage.
Well, now you come to Florida. You're in Gainesville. SEC East championships on the line. What in the world did that locker room feel like before that game?
Mm. Oh man, before the game,
Oh yeah,
we
we'll get to the game.
we are. I mean, Mark, we're confident. Like we're not coming down to Gainesville to lose. Coach Spurrier is not coming down to Gainesville to
Oh
lose.
no.
He wanted that win just as bad as we did. And I mean, you know, with his confidence, plus we knew we had a good team. Um, we came down there to win. And so before the locker room, we were fired up. We were fired up. We were ready to go. And the first play of the game, they take a kickoff return back to the
Yep.
house. Our confidence maybe shook a little bit, but still, we had done it all season against some of the top talent in the SEC. Why couldn't we do it against Florida? I
Mm-hmm.
think was our mindset, and I don't know, man. We just had an attitude about us that whole era, but specifically that team in specific, we had the attitude about us that we're in the SEC too, and we're here to stay.
Well, that team can't nobody ever say lack confidence. I
Right,
mean, really and truly from top to bottom. I mean, from the coaching.
right.
For a quick second, Steve Spurrier. Now we always got the coaches talk when people ask him about playing Florida with a chance to get the SEC championship game in Gainesville. He would always try to brush it down in the media. Behind the scenes, how much was he really stressing winning this particular game in this particular situation?
Well, I don't even think he had to, Mark. I mean, we felt it.
Oh,
We
yeah.
felt his intensity. We felt his energy. We felt his focus throughout the week. And throughout that entire week, it was be on point. Be on point. Be on your assignment. The small details. Focus on them. And he called a great game. I mean, it's just simple as that. He called an old school SEC game, which showed his diversity in play calling. Coming from his reputation of being fun and gun and throw it
Right,
around. Nah, we went two tight ends and a fullback.
right.
We went 13 personnel, 12 personnel a good bit, and we pounded Florida until they submitted.
Hmm.
So and then we hit them with an occasional play action. So it was one of them games where you just um you wear him down. But yeah, we felt his energy. I think Coach Spurrier.
Well, one thing I want to ask you about is Steve Spurrier behind the coaching. One thing that Steven Garcia talked about when I asked him the same question was that Steve Spurrier was a germaphobe. Um, said he wouldn't shake hands if you met him. Most likely, he's gonna give you a fist bump. Now, what are some things you could tell me about Steve Spurrier when the cameras aren't around?
Now I'll be quite frank with you. His relationship with quarterbacks are very different than his relationships with other positions.
I can imagine.
Quarterbacks get the brunt of Steve Spurrier. They get the Steve Spurrier that has fire and sarcasm and cynicism. They get a version of Steve Spurrier people don't want to see. Um, with that being said, with me, I can only speak of our relationship, Coach Spurrier and I.
Hmm.
Um, Man, it was nothing but love. It was literally nothing but love. I never had a coach brag on me as much as he did. And I'm talking about like every game. There were some games where, if I fumbled or if yeah, only if I fumbled, he would say something to me that was, like, get right, get yourself right. But man, Mark, it was all love. The dude knows how to pour into his players as well. He's affirming. He's encouraging. He makes you feel like you can overcome and do anything that you want to do. He has that motivational side of him as well. When it comes to the quarterbacks,
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's different. It's different, really different.
Now you played with Steven Garcia. You also played with Connor Shaw. Two totally different styles of quarterbacks. You went from a 5-star recruit to somebody less recruited. But what I want to focus on is Connor. What made Connor Shaw different?
Man, he never changed. He never blinked. I never saw Connor Shaw sweat. Uh, and he was one of the only quarterbacks that I've ever been around that did not have to raise his voice. He didn't have to raise his voice because his essence exuded respect and integrity, and you just knew if Connor was in the game, you always had a chance because it's like his body temperature never raised, no matter what. I mean, it could be second quarter in Death Valley, 90,000 people screaming. You can't hear a thing. I'm right beside him, and he's just calm.
Oh wow.
Calm. I mean, he's just going to deliver the ball where it's supposed to be, or he's going to take off and get you 7 yards and go out of bounds. He's never, he, there's nothing that could shake him.
Mm. Watching as a fan, I could also see that. Like I said, one of the most brilliant plays I ever saw was, him coming in after that energy. I think it's against Missouri, against after the injury,
Yes.
barely could walk, and
Yes.
making that touchdown pass on like a fourth down. I was like, dude, there's something special. So I can see that as
Fourth
a
down
fan.
and first down, fourth down and first down might as well be the same thing for Connor Shaw because
Yeah,
it,
not
it, it
everybody
doesn't
has
matter.
that. So one thing I want to touch on is just briefly. I do want to talk about the injury. The main thing is I want to talk about is the Tennessee game in 2012. I know you've answered a million questions about this injury, and that's fine. I don't want to really get into that. We had a lot of outpouring of support. I mean, from people from not just from South Carolina, Alabama, Tennessee. Even the Tennessee players. Everywhere. Did that outpouring really surprise you as much as it surprised a lot of us?
It wasn't just from the South. It was from
Right.
Germany. It was from
Yeah.
Australia. It was, I mean, Mark, there's a box in my mother's garage. I mean, it might have over 20,000 letters from, from the SEC for sure, but
Hmm.
California, Europe, South America. Um, when you see the reach of this game and how many people are watching and how many people were watching that moment and also hurt with me, uh it was eye-opening, really. I didn't really know until that moment how far the reach of not only South Carolina Gamecocks but my name had stretched throughout the
Right.
world. And
Right.
it was eye-opening for me because when you receive those letters, you read those letters, and they're so thoughtful. Like it's nothing but love coming out of the letter. It's humbling, eye-opening, but also motivating. It motivated me to, you know what, man, let's try this again. If people really care for me, it was beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And my wife has accredited your injury against Tennessee the reason she doesn't watch football no more.
Wow.
Ever since then, she will not watch football with me no more. Um, Now I want to take on the draft day right quick. 2013, everything you done been through. What was going through your mind while you waited for somebody to finally take that chance on you?
Oh man, draft day is. the most anxiety ridden period of my life that I've ever been through. Because I mean, I didn't have a clue what was going to happen.
Right.
You know, my agent literally said you could go first round or you could go undrafted. You know, so I didn't really have a range of
Mm-hmm.
or projection. And, you know, when I went to the combine, I couldn't perform, but I met with, I mean, at least 15 teams. And, you know, they all were, you know, expressing the same, like, you know, we love you, you know, we love you, we love you, you know, but you don't really, you know, we like your game, but you don't really know what that means, you know, so
Right.
you can't really get a read on anything throughout that entire process. So the first day goes by, and you know, I mean, you just got your phone is literally glued to your hand the
Yeah.
entire time, you know. So first day goes by, nothing. So you can't sleep. Um, Second day goes by, nothing. Um, so I mean, I was preparing to go undrafted, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, go undrafted, and you know, do my best. Hopefully, a team can, you know, stick with me throughout the rehabilitation process, and you know, once I'm ready to move again, we can get this thing going. But yeah, it was it was anxiety ridden. I mean, that's really the only way that I can term it. And then that third day comes around, and fourth round, you know, and I see a call coming from the Bay Area. I think it said Hayward, California, or
Mm-hmm.
510 area code. So I didn't know if, I mean, I assumed it was the Raiders. You know, I wasn't really thinking it was the Niners. And, you know, I got the call, picked up the phone. It was Trent Baalke, the general manager at the time for the San Francisco 49ers. He said, hey, let's do this thing. I mean, it's kind of, you literally feel the anxiety melt away, because now, I mean, your future was uncertain before then. You didn't know if this was the end of your career. You didn't know if you were
Mm-hmm.
going undrafted. Um, you know, so you're holding all of that uncertainty until that phone call happens. And so was my family. My family was surrounded with me. They were holding that uncertainty well, and it was definitely a beautiful moment.
Well, you asked the answer my next question. I was going to ask you about the phone call. Um, so now you're 23 years old. Now you know you're having to wrestle with the opportunity of possibly no longer playing football again. Um, w- I'm wanting to ask you, how long did you know in your heart before you finally said, "I'm done playing football"?
I knew about 6 months before.
Hmm.
I knew about 6 months before, when my knee wasn't feeling as strong as it used to feel.
Gotcha.
Uh, it was, you know what? It was just one of those things where you just didn't want to believe what was happening.
Right.
Like, so I delayed it as long as I could. I delayed that inevitable end as long as I could. I didn't want to believe that this would be the end of my football career. I didn't. And although I knew in the back of my mind that, man,
Right.
there's no way. I'll tell you what, Mark. I saw Joe Staley, who was our left tackle at the time, will be a Hall of Fame left tackle.
Hmm.
I saw him running. You know, he was just. It was one of those practices where starters weren't doing much, and scout team, special teams was out on the field, and he told one of the scout team guys to just move out the way and let him run down the field to go attack the kick returner. And the way this dude was moving, like it just, I was just like, man, I can't even move like that. And this is our left tackle, you know. So it kind of hit me at that moment. I was just like, yeah, this. I don't think this is gonna work out. Yeah.
Well, like I said, man, I know that things would have been a little bit different, but man, like I said, I want to get into some of the things now since the football, because that to me, you reinvented yourself in a way that I don't think people can fully appreciate. You went back, got your degree, which is really really cool. We'll get into that as well, but one thing I want to talk about is your poetry, because I don't know that a lot of people know, unless they're following you, where exactly did poetry enter your life?
Mm. Ooh, it entered my life. I'll say this, Mark. I feel like because I heard throughout my formative years so many preachers, like Southern preachers and Southern coaches, who were masters at communication. I'm talking about masters at motivating, masters at
Hmm.
communication. And there was a poetic feel to what they were saying. I didn't know it at the time, but why were they connecting so deeply with me? Preachers, coaches, it was because they were using techniques in poetry. Now, I
Hmm.
didn't know that at the time, but I feel like that influence has always been inside of me. Um, and how words can ignite people, words can change people, words can allow people to see things from a different perspective. That's what they were doing during my younger years. Now, when I retired from the game, I was I was in this transition phase trying to figure out what was next. Like, what will I do with my life?
Hmm.
Because I didn't know, and I started journaling.
Hmm.
So, and journaling allowed me to uh, understand my inner world a little bit better, and who I am, and what I like, what I don't like. What are some things that I've been through that have affected me, in a tough way? So I started to express that on paper. So that was around
Hmm.
28 years old. And, once that happened, that was, everything changed. I started to, just look at life a little bit differently. Um, Started journaling and then moved to Oregon, and I saw people were speaking words out loud. I didn't know what this art form was.
Hmm.
I was just out one night downtown and stumbled into a literary building, and people were speaking words out loud, and it was beautiful. It was powerful. It was empowering for me, and I learned that this was spoken word poetry,
Right.
and yeah, that happened around 27, 28 years old. So I just kept writing. I kept writing, and man, here we are today.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I follow yourself on Facebook, and I mean, like I said, it's an acquired taste,
Yeah,
but after you follow it and you listen to it and and you see the emotion and stuff like that, like I said, I think it's really really cool, man. I mean,
thank you.
I've watched some of your stuff. Now, what can Marcus the writer say that Marcus the football player couldn't?
Whew, wow. Um, what can Marcus the writer say that Marcus the football player could? Marcus the writer is just a little bit more open-minded. Um, he's a little bit more expressive and open with how he feels.
Mm,
So Marcus the writer can express his emotions. He can articulate his emotions when he's feeling down, when he's feeling sad, when he's unsure. He knows, Marcus the writer knows that there's strength in asking for help. There's strength in vulnerability and being a vulnerable man and opening up your heart. Um, and Marcus understands that Marcus the writer can look back at Marcus the football player and provide empathy for him, like when he was a little bit lost and confused, and as the spotlight grew for Marcus the football player, it kind of became a lot overwhelming. So I think Marcus the writer provides that empathy for the football player. So
I love it. I
yeah.
love it. I like I said, that was one thing that I wanted to kind of find out. Now, is there a poem that you've written that was difficult for you to finish because of where it took you emotionally?
Mm. I mean, anytime I get into my household, like my childhood household,
Hmm.
or my relationship with my father, or my relationship with my mother, anything that is very, very close to my nucleus
Hmm.
is very difficult to write about, um, because it's so emotional, and it can it can be viewed as something that is um, antagonistic at certain people, or it can be viewed as hurtful to certain people if I write it, or if I speak it out loud. You know, so there's been a bunch of poems about my family that I don't have the courage enough today to post or finish. There's a lot of poems about my family that I have not finished. Um, but eventually I'll have to confront. I'll have to confront that place of myself. So, um, yeah, those poems are very difficult.
So we got some Marcus Lattimore poetry that's just sitting there chilling until he's
Oh
ready to
man,
finish it right
most
now.
of it is. I mean, people only see about 5%. I got so much stuff that ain't out there.
Oh man, well, I can't wait for that to come out.
Thank you.
Now, take me to that. You know, you got your first spoken word poetry performance.
Mm,
Were you more nervous before that or before your first SEC game?
mm. Probably my spoken word. Probably. I'll say that I remember my heart. I mean, it couldn't stop beating. I mean, it was absolutely beating out his chest. I could control my foot. You know, the foot is obvious, you know, when your foot is tapping. So I had to control that.
Mhm.
But I mean, until about 15 seconds into the poem, I was still shaking, like
Oh wow,
visibly shaking. Um, yeah, it was, and I think because it was a vulnerable poem, and I was talking about in that poem, the first poem that I ever spoke out loud was about the confines of masculinity and how sometimes we don't feel comfortable enough around other men to share what's on our heart, and even maybe cry or give each other a hug, or just show any type of affection. I think the poem
mm,
was centered around that idea. So maybe it had something to do with the topic, maybe it had something to do with my first time, but I was shaking.
man, I would think that too because now I would think that in my situation, like I said, I'm not a poet, but of course, but in a poetry, you're kind of by yourself. In a football game, you have a team around you. So
Yeah,
maybe if you mess up, you got your other teammates who can pick up your slack. In a poem, in a poetry reading, I would think that you're relying strictly on yourself. So that's kind of how
that's
I would look at it.
that's a
But
good point. That's that
now
that
I have read,
that's really a good point.
my friend, that you like writing on a typewriter.
That's
What does
that's
that give
true.
you that sitting down with a laptop doesn't?
Oh man, um, it's tactile. Like you can feel it. Like you can feel your
Mhm.
fingers create the ink on the paper. Um, and they look, number one, they look cool. Number two, a lot of my heroes in literature
Mm-hmm.
began on the typewriter, like Maya Angelou or Toni Morrison or James Baldwin. Like it's kind of like a throwback era type of
Gotcha.
thing.
Nostalgic.
But also, I don't know. It kind of Mark, another thing the typewriter does. It slows life down a little bit. I feel like on the computer or when you got your phone. I mean, life, you can really, really like just speed up your thoughts. But on the
Right.
typewriter, there's no backspace. So you really have to be intentional and careful about every single word that you're putting together. And I don't know, I actually, used to type. I don't do it as much as I used to, but I used to type poetry for people here in Portland, like live in
Mhm.
person. And it was like this exercise in courage for me, but also like um very, very fruitful for the the person involved. Like it was like a mutual
Mhm.
creation uh that we were joining in together for. So that was cool. Yeah, it just gives me a lot, gives me time to slow down life.
I like that, and I mean, I remember giving you my age. I did a lot of my reports and stuff like that in middle school on a typewriter.
Oh wow, there
And,
we go.
and yeah, and our backspace was white out.
That's
Um,
it. That's
that's
it.
basically what we had. Now, 2024, you become Oregon's spoken word Grand Slam champion. Two
Yeah.
parts to this. I want you to take me to that night,
Mm.
how your emotions, but also what's a greater achievement and a better experience for you, the spoken word Grand Slam champion or the SEC East champion?
Mm. That night, it was the room was packed. There's this place that we meet downtown Portland on about Fourth Avenue. It's called Literary Arts, and I mean, you couldn't even. I mean, there were people standing up. There wasn't enough seats in there. And there were about, I think it was four. Yeah, we were the four remaining poets. It was the four remaining poets competing that night, and we drawed in a hat who would go first, and you usually don't want to go first,
Mm-hmm.
um, just so the judges can get warmed up with the first, the second, and third poet, and then once they see yours, that their scores are their brains are a little bit more, I guess, acclimated to the room and what type of poetry is happening. But I was first. I was first
Mm-hmm.
to go. So I drew first. So I threw my best poem out there. And I got an okay score. I got enough score to get to the second round. And throughout that entire, when you're not speaking, when you're not competing, you're sitting and you're just thinking, you're just twirling in your brain like what poem will give you the best score? What poem will win this competition? And I'm just going back and forth in my head, and I knew I had some heat that I could throw out there. Uh, but yeah, it was one of them nights, man, where you just my it's not, because in spoken word, it's not what you say. It is what
Mm-hmm.
let me take that back. It is what you say, but it's more how you say it. It's how
And
you
when you
say it.
say that, I've like I said, I've watched some of your stuff on Facebook, and like I said, it's really how you say, like how you say the stuff, your facial expressions,
Yeah.
and everything
It's
else.
all the judges are looking at all of that. They're looking
Oh.
at there's an acting component to spoken word poetry, which I think kind of opened the door to me for acting, but there's this acting component to it, a theatrical component to it, that you have to, use your know when to pause, know your cadence. Uh Maybe something with your eyes, maybe look left,
Mhm.
maybe look right, depending on what you're talking about. are your mannerisms matching your words? Is one thing that the judges are looking for. So you got to give energy, or they're not gonna give you a good score. So yeah, that night, man, it was. I got to the last round and I threw my I gave I recited a poem about Portland
Mm-hmm.
during the last round, and I think because it was local and centralized and nobody all night had heard a poem about Portland, I think that took me over the top. And I got my best score in the last round, and I hoisted that that trophy at the end, and it erupted. It erupted in that space. Um, which one?
Which one
As
felt more rewarding? We'll
which
say
one
that.
felt more rewarding? Man, both are special. I mean, this is my political answer. Both are special in their own way. But I'll say
Hey
this:
Spurrier, if you're watching this or any of his teammates, that's what we're doing here.
it, both are special in their own way. But I'll say that the spoken word Grand Slam champion representing Oregon, I knew it. I was very proud of myself because I knew I had found something that can carry me for the rest of my life. I knew I'd found something else outside of football that makes me just as happy.
That's what we can all hope to achieve, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was like me. I went back to college at 40 in my 40s and got my degree in digital media and journalism, and here I am interviewing Marcus Lattimore. So
Man, I love to hear that.
like from Penn State. So I heard you talk about the Nittany Lions you went in tours, so had to shout out my Nittany Lions. Now I got a
No
couple more
doubt.
questions for you here, and I'm going to let you go, my friend. I want to talk because I want to talk a little bit more about the poetry. I want to talk about a little bit about the book, and I also want to bring things back to the football. What's going on in football now, and then we'll be done. Okay, my friend.
Sounds
Um,
good.
Now, as an athlete, you've always had a scoreboard. Yards, touchdowns, stats, stuff like that. Poetry doesn't have all that. How did
Mm,
you learn to create something without needing those stats to tell you whether you succeeded?
mm. Yeah, it's a big shift. It's a big transition, because I mean, just as you mentioned, you go from knowing that your worth and your value as a athlete is determined by your wins and losses, or how many touchdowns or how many yards. That's how you kind of quantify your success. But here's the beautiful thing about poetry is that I think it really is an internal measure. Like you, I can I know when I have a good poem by how clear my mind is. That's how I determine how if a poem is good or not. If my mind is clear, So like poetry has become this practice of almost self awareness because you're really just practicing on being in the present moment and being with yourself. That's the beauty in poetry. Like it forces you to be in the present moment. And sometimes the present moment is uncomfortable, but you still have to deal with it and um, get with it. So, but yeah, like poetry, I don't see it as a win or loss. Now slam poetry, that's completely different. Like
Right.
when you're going for a slam, when you're competing, you're in it to win it. But
Right.
I haven't slammed in about 2 years. So I mean, I kind of took a break from it because of that. Like I
Hmm.
think it was taken away from the quality of what brought me to poetry, and that's the
Right.
being able to look inside myself and grow a little bit more. That and even reading poetry. There's so many immortal excellent poems out there that some people have never read because I mean, it's just one of those art forms that you really have to go dig for. So yeah, I mean, I don't even judge it like that. It's
Mm-hmm.
if I judge it by how clear my mind is. Like, oh, I got something, because it's just this internal feeling that you get inside of you when you know you've written something good. It's just like, oh yeah, this and quite frankly, I write for me. You know,
Right.
I write for myself. Now, if somebody asks me to write something for them, of course but I'm still pulling from myself. Um, so yeah, it's for me. It's for myself. It's something I'll do when I'm 80 years old.
Yeah, and that's what I think is really really cool. Like I said, I can see you doing this for a very long time because like I can just tell by the way you talk about it. You know, it is a passion, and I think that's really really cool. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and give you a shout out. Marcus has a book out. It's called Scream My Name. If you haven't gotten this thing, I would recommend it's an absolute must that you read. I bought my copy this week, and like I said, it's definitely a very very good book. Um, Now you have spent so much of your time in football, and then you went and reinvented yourself with poetry. Now you went back to scream my name and to tell your life story. What made you think? What made now the right time to do that?
You know what, Mark? That book happened by accident. I was in January of this year. January of this year, January of last year. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
Um, I was on a flight from Portland to Los Angeles. I was going to speak to the UCLA football team,
Okay.
and um, quite frankly, I didn't know what I was going to say to them. This would have been my first introduction back into a football facility ever since I left. I didn't know what I was going to say to them. But when I got to Los Angeles, it was during the wildfires actually. So I'm
Oh
flying over
yeah, the
Los
Palisades.
Angeles. The mountain is orange. I mean, because fire's just rolling over the
Right.
mountain. We land. I get in get in my Uber, get to the hotel. I get in contact with the director of player development at UCLA, and he tells me that it's canceled. We can't
Mhm.
Students can't leave their room. They can't do anything because the air is just terrible, and it was absolutely terrible. You didn't want to be
Like a
outside in
total
LA.
heat wave.
So I just stayed in my hotel room, and I start writing, and for the next 5 6 hours I was stuck there. I had the first draft of Scream My Name.
Wow.
Um, and I think it was spawned from not knowing what I was going to say to UCLA. I knew I wanted to tell my story. I just didn't know how I wanted to tell my story. So that was in the back of my mind, UCLA, and then my one of my best friends was the head strength coach at UCLA during the time, and I asked him, like, where do you see the value in my story? I asked him that question. Like, why do you think I'm here to speak to them? And he was like, you know, somebody who overcame is what he
Right.
said. Somebody who overcame. I was just like, okay. So I sat with that idea. I sat with, knowing that I could potentially be speaking to UCLA very soon. Now I just kept writing, writing, writing. And I wanted it to be short. I wanted it to be
Mhm.
concise. I wanted to be something that an 18 to 22-year-old had time in Power Five to read.
Mhm.
Like something they can just look at and see, like, okay, this is pretty cool.
Yep.
But it's also real. So that was my motivation behind it. The timing of it was on accident.
Well, we talk about perseverance. I mean, you got injured at Mississippi State. Everybody thought that was it. You came back. The thing with Tennessee, you still, had a run in the NFL. And then all of a sudden, instead of just letting that beat you down, now you learn to reinvent yourself and you find something else that's a passion. That's just just changing. How you do things. So I think that's all really really cool, man.
I
Now,
appreciate it.
did writing the book force you to come up memories that you packed away?
A lot of memories. There's a lot of poems in that. A lot of poems that I did not put in the book, but were inspired by this project. Um, yeah, like I mean, going back to that Tennessee moment, for sure. Um, Going back to the night of the Hall of Fame banquet, that was a big one for me. Um, just really being honest with who I was and some of my mishaps, some of my shortcomings. That was tough. It was tough to air that out, but I wanted to. And it felt appropriate for where I was during that stage in my life. And yeah, like it was,
I can imagine it was
it was
pretty
a process
powerful.
for sure.
Now, when somebody finishes "Scream My Name," what's the one thing that you hope they understand about Marcus Lattimore that they didn't understand before?
Mm. That football was, is a part of me, always will be a part of me, but it's not all of me. And understanding that what you do is not who you are. Um, if I could put it in short.
I like that. I like that. Now, 20 years from now, would it surprise you if somebody knew Marcus Lattimore because of something you wrote and only afterwards discover how good you were at football?
Mm. Man, you know what's crazy? It happens a lot here in Portland.
Oh, I can imagine. I can imagine. I can imagine your visits in South Carolina are a bit different than you walking through Portland.
Man, I'm two different human beings, because nobody, a lot of people don't know my backstory here in Portland. They just know me as this is the poet.
Right.
So that's kind of like a trip. That's like a mind trip that you go on every time it happens, and then you go back to South Carolina. I mean, you're mostly identified. I mean, even some people in South Carolina, see me as a poet now, but like, but I'm mostly identified as, uh, number 21 for the Gamecocks, and I'm okay. It's not like either one is hurtful or harmful. I'm okay with both because I am both.
Right. And that's kind of why that's why I was intrigued by doing this particular interview is because of the fact that following your story even after football, I think is just been intriguing because a lot of people in our neck of the woods, they don't know what Marcus Lattimore's up to right now. You kind of don't, you're not in front of the cameras all the time.
Right,
Now,
right.
one thing I had to say before we go to my next couple questions, Mike Uva is going to be my interview Wednesday. He told me to tell you that he is mad at you because I bumped his interview to Wednesday to do yours, which was not true. I actually done yours first. He messaged he emailed me and asked about doing tonight. I told him that I already had a scheduled interview with you, and I moved into Wednesday. But he told me to tell you that you get a kick out of that. So um yeah,
Mike's my guy.
yeah,
Mike, that's
yeah,
my
I'll be
guy.
talking to him, and I think his story is really cool because he went from a beat writer in the Gamecock Central thing to now he is in the media department at Coastal Carolina now. So
Yeah.
yeah, totally different thing. So I'm really excited about that one. But yeah, he told me to mention that to you at some point in the interview, so I had to throw that out there, my friend. Now, I want to bring this all the way back now to today. talk a little bit about Gamecock football now. When you look at Shane Beamer's South Carolina program right now, what do you see right now? And do you see any similarities between what he's trying to build right now and what your generation built under Coach Spurrier?
I mean, I see what I always see when I see, a Shane Beamer team, which is selflessness, toughness, uh, bully ball on defense. Um, all those characteristics that give you an all those traits that give you an opportunity to win football games. Um, there's a lot of questions around offense, which will be answered very soon. But Coach Beamer is going to guarantee you're going to have a selfless team, you're going to have a
Right.
tough team, and you're going to have a bully defense. So those traits will never stay the same. If there has been outside criticism on Coach Beamer, it has been uh, a consistent offense, which
Right.
I believe, bringing in Bryles and his history around mobile quarterbacks. I feel like this is a good match. I feel like this is a good match for Lenore Sellers, and I don't know, like there's an there's an there's a doorway to the playoffs. I believe,
I agree.
but if those three things are going to be consistent. The fourth thing is the offense. Can the offense match those three other traits? Is the question.
Well, I think, like you said, the Browns hire, but you talk about the inconsistency of offense. You got to look at it, man. He's also had four different offensive coordinators. So
Exactly.
so he hasn't been able to main. Dow Loggins is doing really really well, I think, with Radler, and then he got snatched up. And then Mike Shula comes in, and well, we saw how that went. And but I think Browse, but I also think that they went and got a new offensive line coach. I think it's going to be a big help. Running backs coach, so he kind of he did an overhaul of the whole staff, and I think that they're going to be really really good. But now you've watched Lenore Sellers develop. So what stands out to you about him?
I mean, his ability to break tackles, I think, is the most obvious thing. I hadn't seen, quite frankly, I hadn't seen a lot of people play football that break more tackles than he does. His contact balance. Um, he seems like, I don't know him, but he seems like a guy who stays level headed. I hadn't seen him get too hot or get too cold. Um, yeah, I mean he's special. He's special, special, special runner. Great passer. And has an opportunity to be an elite passer. And if he does, I mean, there's no reason why he can't be a top 3 pick in the NFL draft if he has a good year.
I agree wholeheartedly. I'm with you on that. His running ability and everything is next to none. If he can bring it full circle and with the passing, he could be that Cam Newton type of player. And I think the sky's the limit for him. Now you're Marcus Lattimore. You're sitting down. You're watching a South Carolina football game, and of course, you're one of the best running backs to ever play at the school. What are you seeing in the South Carolina running backs that the rest of us probably aren't right now?
Hmm. I don't know these new guys. Uh the new guys I've had glimpses of them at other schools.
Hmm.
So I'm vaguely familiar with these new guys and how they operate. I will say this though, the running back coach, I mean, he is a whole nother level of running back coach.
Oh yeah,
Uh yeah, he is special. Um
I agree.
you can just tell by how he talks about the running back position. So if I'd be willing to bet that might be our strength this year. Uh
I think you could be right, Marcus.
Yeah, that might be the thing that gets us over the hump. Having, and those three guys that I'm vaguely familiar with, I've seen glimpses of them and
Mhm.
how they move. But I'm excited to see them in action. But the running back coach, he's not gonna put somebody out there that ain't playing to an excellent standard. So
And I
I'm
think
expecting huge
you
things.
bring up an interesting point because everybody talks about the Bryles hire, and with all due respect, I'm a Penn State alumni, so I also watched Penn State play football. And the running backs coach, when they went and snatched him out of Penn State, I was like, this is brilliant.
Yeah,
So, like I said, that hire right there, I think, kind of flies under the radar with a lot of people because it's not the sexy hire. Kendall Bryles, that's Mike Shula, replacing him, getting him out of there, that was the big thing. But I'm telling you, that running back coach, that I think that's going to be a game changer for him.
no doubt.
Now, you're watching the football games when Williams Bryce is rocking. 2001 starts playing. Does Marcus Lattimore still want to go put the pads on?
When I'm there, only when I'm in the
Yeah.
stand or when I'm on the sideline. I mean, how could you not? I mean, like it's the most iconic entrance in America in front of the best fans in America. Um, it's just one of those things that you 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 want you want to relive it. You want to relive it, even if it is for 10 seconds. Now, I mean, I wouldn't last. But if just look, I can give you one play. You put me in on fourth. You put me in on second and 3 or fourth and inches. I'm gonna get it.
Now, we talk about that entrance. Some of my people watching in this neck of the woods, they might think running down that damn hill might be the biggest thing, but we're gonna just let them think that. Now, now, can
I
somebody who
just
didn't grow
always
up?
thought it was dangerous. It just looked so dangerous.
Well, I mean, you've seen people like get hurt and stuff doing it before, so I mean, you might be right. Now, if you could stand in front of the current South Carolina team before the biggest game of their season, and you have 60 seconds, what are you going to tell them?
Mm. Let go. Let go of all doubt. Let go of all worry. Let go of all insecurities. Let go of anything that stands in the way of you thinking that you won't win this game. If you have any doubt, erase it right now because it's wasted energy. Everybody in this room, repeat after me. One mind, one sound, one team. Let go, come together. Let's get it going.
Man, I'm 160 pounds and I'm ready to go run. I'm ready to
Let's go.
go
Let's
put the
go.
pads on right now, man.
Let's
I I,
go.
I, I might get a few broken bones, but now I'm ready to roll. Now,
Let's roll.
we're gonna have a little bit of fun right quick, man. This is a section I do all my interviews. It's called "Put Your Name on It." Basically, I'm just gonna ask you a question. You don't have to elaborate or anything. You just give like simple one word, one sentence answers to this. Okay. So and like I said, no sitting on the fence, no being political on this one. Okay. This is what we're gonna do.
Uh,
Um, best best running back in college football during your era that's not named Marcus Lattimore.
Isaiah Crowell,
Okay. Best defensive player you ever faced.
Marcel Darius,
Oh, that's a good one. Toughest SEC stadium.
Death Valley, LSU.
Oh, the real Death Valley. Okay, you had to make that one. Best teammate you ever had.
Oh, Bruce Ellington.
I love that one, man. Most underrated teammate. I'm like,
Sherrod Golightly.
I could have thought Bruce Ellington might have been that one too. So, um, best pure athlete you played with.
Oh, Melvin Ingram.
Ooh, I like the. I mean, yeah, anytime you can, recover a fumble, make an interception, get a touchdown, all in the same game, that's saying
Ridiculous.
something. One defender you absolutely hate is seeing waiting for you in the hole.
Oh gosh. What is his name? Kentucky linebacker number 22. God dog. Danny Trevathan.
Oh, okay. Ain't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah.
Now, best Steve Spurrier one-liner that you can repeat on this show.
Oh man. Pass.
Pass on that one. I got you. All right. Better rivalry: South Carolina, Clemson, Auburn, and Alabama.
South Carolina Clemson.
One current college football player you paid money to watch right now.
Jeremiah Smith.
All right. I like that one. Better Marcus Lattimore, freshman Marcus or pre-injury sophomore Marcus?
I mean, my freshman Marcus.
Um, 1 yard, one play, game on the line. Marcus Lattimore or Connor Shaw?
Oh, give it to Connor, but I'm pushing him in the butt.
Oh, we're doing a tush push, huh?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Jalen. All right. Harder stage: 80,000 people watching you play football, or a quiet room waiting to hear something you wrote.
Probably that 80,000. That 80,000 crazy. Yeah.
If Marcus Lattimore could only be remembered for one thing: football player, mentor, or writer, which one are you putting your name on?
Mentor.
Mentor. I love it. All
Mentor.
right, Marcus, one last question, man. I know we went a little over this hour, man, but this has been awesome. What's next for you now? I know you got the acting. What else can we expect from Marcus Lattimore in the future?
Acting. Acting. More poetry. Acting poetry, movies, um, writing shows, writing plays. Uh, I'm still, I'm gonna be playing regardless. Theater, performance poetry. I just want to play for the rest of my life, and if I can find a, if I can get paid to play, and entertain, and uh, you know, ho- hopefully change somebody's mind along the way. I mean, I think poetry and theater are two of the most powerful mediums to affect change in society. That's not why I do it. I do it to play. I love to play, and
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, it reawakens that kid inside of me. So, yeah, movies, plays, poetry, anything that's artistic, I'll be in it.
Dude, I love it. I'm gonna be waiting to see Marcus Lattimore in a movie. Um, Man, so the book is named Scream My Name. It's just the Marcus Lattimore story. You can definitely get that on anywhere. I got my copy on Amazon. It is definitely a much read. Marcus, you gave me a lot of time here to talk. I do appreciate it, my friend. I'm gonna let you get on off of here though. And I know you got family things you might want to do. And I know it's still kind of early down over there in Oregon. So I want to thank you again. It definitely means a lot that you did come on the show, and I'm gonna be mailing you my copy so you can sign it and send it back to me. Okay, so I'm gonna be mailing you a copy of my book.
I
Um,
got you.
I'll be expecting my signed copy. Okay. All right, Marcus. I appreciate you, my friend, and I hope you have yourself a great night, buddy. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
You too, Mark. I appreciate you, man. Great
Thank you.
question.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Man, how cool was that? I have Marcus Lattimore, one of the best running backs in South Carolina history. He actually gave me an hour and a half of his time, so I definitely cannot thank this man enough. With all the stuff he's going, I hope you guys learned a lot hearing about his story. From the time that he was recruited to the time he went to South Carolina to now what he's doing now and things. So, man, like I said, Marcus, if you're still listening, I definitely appreciate your time on that, sir. Now Wednesday, I have Mike Uva coming on the show. Mike is formerly with GamecockCentral.com. He is now the assistant athletics director of communications at Coastal Carolina. Definitely excited about that one. We also have Mike Meniscalo, September 15th, voice of the Carolina Hurricanes. He'll be joining the show. We also have Dave Vishkin of the Tampa Bay Lightning on the 17th. And we have Sam Farber of the Charlotte Hornets, voice of the Charlotte Hornets on September 27th. So, like I said, we have a lot of great shows coming up. I still am trying to book outstanding, more outstanding guests. But this one right here was absolutely phenomenal. I hope you guys enjoyed that interview as much as I did, and I hope you guys also have a great night and enjoy this outro.
Welcome to Sports Nuts University. Another show is in the books tonight. We talked the games, we gave you everything. Now let the campus fade into the light. Sports Nuts University, where the nuts always come to play. Sports Nuts University, we'll see you